Welcome to another episode of Ask the Placenta Lady. My name is Jody, but I'm commonly called the Placenta Lady. I started working with new moms back in 2006, and I started Placenta Benefits, PBI, later that same year. So I've been working with new moms for a very long time and been asked pretty much every question that could be related to pregnancy, birth, or postpartum recovery, what's typically called the birth year. So that's why our tagline is "No question is too strange for the Placenta Lady." Joining me today is Dallas Bossola. Dallas is a holistic birth postpartum doula and encapsulator. She teaches about quantum birth, which means the focus is on the physiological birth and postpartum. She also offers prenatal and postpartum counseling, energy work, and placenta readings, as well as encapsulation. Welcome to the show, Dallas.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about your work.
My name is Dallas. I live on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, a little barrier island off the coast. I have been working with families in our community for a really long time and encapsulating for about 3 years now. I'm a holistic and postpartum, birth and postpartum doula. And like Jody said, I focus on the physiology of birth and the postpartum process. I love encapsulating. It's a big part of my business. And I like talking to women about the benefits and the process. I've been, serving families for almost about 8 years here. So I love what I do, and I'm excited to be on with you today. Thank you for having me.
That's fantastic. I love hearing about the physiological aspect of what you're doing. So that's, I think, so integral and oftentimes not something that's discussed or thought about. So that's fantastic. So our question for this episode of Ask the Placenta Lady is, I'm planning to breastfeed my baby. Can I still use the placenta? And this is actually a question I get asked a lot. And the answer is absolutely, you can still encapsulate your placenta. And in fact, you probably should if you're concerned about milk production or making enough milk for your baby. There is some recent, I don't know about backlash, but some recent verbiage out there that's maybe cautioning women to use the placenta because the placenta capsules, or the fear is that the placenta capsules will minimize or lessen your milk production. And that comes from a general misunderstanding, I believe, about how the placenta works in our systems once it's been transformed into what we call ZHA, and we'll go into that a little bit. So, excuse me. So in order to really address and have a thorough discussion about that, we would need to have a whole discussion on lactogenesis, how the interplay in milk production begins and such. But we're going to address it from the aspect of traditional Chinese medicine. So if you're a provider and you're interested in the effects and how all of that works as far as placenta with placenta encapsulation with milk production, we do have an entire course on that you can take. It's only $40 and it's at placentacourse.com, and it is a course completely dedicated to the lactation effects. But let's start with traditional Chinese medicine. When I first started discussing the concept of placenta encapsulation and placenta encapsulation for postpartum recovery, it had already been used as a treatment for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine. Therefore, I stayed as true to the methods of prep as possible that were described in the MATERIA MEDICA, the Journal of Traditional Chinese Medicine. I figured if it's been used successfully for centuries to treat a variety of illnesses or ailments, who was I to go experimenting with new methods of prep? So I really tried to stay true to traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, as I tend to abbreviate. So TCM is all about creating balance and homeostasis in the body. And in TCM, women or postpartum women who've just delivered are considered cold. Now, when we prepare the placenta in the manner that I train via PBI and that I do for my own clients here in Las Vegas, what we create is called ZHA. Now, ZHA is one of the most powerful tonifying methods or medicines in the TCM arsenal. And by tonifying, they mean it has a warming effect on the body. So in very simplistic terms, postpartum women are considered cold. ZHA is a tonifier, means it's warming, and it helps bring you into balance, making you feel better. In the Materia Medica, the Journal of Traditional Chinese Medicine, ZHA is actually listed as a remedy for insufficient lactation. Therefore, if the placenta is prepared properly, then the placenta will actually aid in milk production. And anecdotally, I've prepared thousands of placentas for women here locally in Las Vegas, and overwhelmingly the response is that they have a great experience with milk production. I've even had clients who want to use the placenta because they were maybe unsuccessful or they didn't produce enough milk with a previous baby. And so they actually prepared the placenta in this fashion in order to increase their milk production. And they were able to maybe nurse their babies for longer, make more milk for their babies this time with the aid of the placenta capsules. So if it is prepared according to the PBI method or according to traditional Chinese medicine, then the answer is yes, it will be helpful. Now there's a trend that has garnered some favor in circles where placenta is prepared according to what they call the raw method. And that is where the placenta is not steamed or cooked in any fashion prior to dehydration. The placenta is just sliced and dehydrated from that state. Now this is not a good idea from a food safety standpoint. Placenta should definitely be treated as a meat-like product and be steamed to a temperature that would be safe for then ingesting before it is dehydrated. Now, with some people reporting that some lactation consultants coming out against the practice and saying that they're seeing a lot of women with a decrease in milk production as a result of using placenta. I'm not quite sure how any of those placentas have been prepared because it hasn't been from anybody from the PBI community or from my own personal clients. So if the placenta is prepared raw, it is no longer ZHA. It is literally just dehydrated placenta. And we have no idea how that is working or what sort of effect that is going to have on the mother's system, whether it's for any of the benefits that traditional Chinese medicine purports that ZHA creates, such as to treat fatigue and to treat insufficient lactation. We don't know how raw prep is going to affect that, and we don't know if it's actually going to have a detrimental impact. So if you want to breastfeed and you want to use your placenta, then I definitely suggest that you interview and talk to a variety of specialists or encapsulators and see how they're preparing it, and to request that it is done according to traditional Chinese medicine. Or if you're curious, you can always find a PBI member to prepare it for you, and that easy URL is just placenta.directory. There's no .com or anything, it's just placenta.directory. It'll be right there, and we have members that are listed all over the world, so multiple countries, and you're pretty sure to find somebody in your area that will prepare it in this fashion for you. Dallas, do you have anything that you would like to add to maybe talk to a mother who's getting started on her breastfeeding journey or preparing to breastfeed her baby if she's still pregnant?
Yeah, I have a lot of I have a lot of suggestions. I'll just name a few. I'll hit the high notes. Definitely encapsulate for all the reasons that Jody just gave. In my practice, I have not done nearly as many encapsulations as Jody has done, but I've done, anywhere between 50 and 60 in the last 3 years. And I have not had a single report of decreased milk supply or actually any other adverse reaction that I've heard of. And that, that obviously depends on whether or not they've let me know. I would say encapsulating for sure, but also learning as much as you can about the anatomy of lactation, the anatomy of the breast, physiology, the hormone process, all the things that are needed to help you understand why our body makes milk, how our body makes milk, the anatomy of the baby's mouth, how breastfeeding actually has to occur. One of my favorite topics always is oxytocin and the production of oxytocin and what it's for. We all know that it's the love hormone. It promotes bonding and attachment between mom and baby. It's the hormone that you make when you have an orgasm. It's how you feel when you feel loved and you feel safe. And oxytocin is the delivery van for milk, and it's in your placenta. I mean, that right there is like to me would be like, why not? Why not try it? So oxytocin is a hormone that is found, they have found that there is a simple infusion that happens between mom and baby. It's found in the umbilical arteries, high levels. So if it's present in the placenta and it's going to help deliver your, prolactin makes your milk, and oxytocin is the delivery van. If that's in your placenta, to me, that's a physiologic reason, a scientific reason to explore the benefits of encapsulation and consuming your capsules. There's a lot of other benefits, but as it pertains to breastfeeding, I think that that's just a really good way to help ramp up your production and to, increase your supply. If for some reason you're, at birth, if oxytocin levels are low, depending on the kind of birth experience that you've had, there are other things that you can do that can benefit, increase your milk supply. Having a safe environment, feeling supported, definitely with breastfeeding. People may not like what you're doing, or they may not understand why, but they have to support what you want. So surrounding yourself with people who are in your corner, who are on your side, and having a supportive partner, having supportive family, trusting yourself, trusting your body. We don't change plans until there's a reason to. So if breastfeeding is your goal, I encourage you to learn about lactation, the anatomy of the breast, the anatomy of the baby's mouth, how it works. Find your support circle now before you have your baby, and definitely line that support up for postpartum. Get a doula for sure. A doula can help you navigate all of those things. So in short, encapsulate, definitely. Why not? There's no downside to it. And and then, learning about the breast, and then getting your support team on board and lining up that postpartum support prior to delivery.
That's fantastic advice, Dallas. And I really love what you said about the support system. It is so essential to not only breastfeeding, but also your entire postpartum recovery is just going to be so much better if you have that support system in place. So that's amazing advice.
Sure.
Thank you for being on the show today, Dallas. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
How can people reach you if they would like to use your services, or maybe ask you some follow-up questions?
Sure. You can find me on the web at Dallas, and it's just like Dallas, Texas, DALLAS, Bossola, BOSSOLA.com. The name of my company is Bloom Doula Services. You can find me that way. Feel free to message me on Facebook. You can find me on the internet, and reach out. I'm happy to help.
That's awesome, Dallas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jody.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Ask the Placenta Lady. Remember, no question is too strange for the Placenta Lady. You can ask us your questions or see other episodes at asktheplacentalady.com. Thank you.